Days, warmer water, and brighter skies. There's no better time to hit the water and chase a little coastal magic. Whether you're booking a fishing charter, a sunset cruise, or just want to float and breathe, Coastal Marsh has got your summer adventure waiting. Departing daily from Little River, contact Captain Chris today at 304-807-7577 or book via email at chris@coastalmarscharters.com. Let's make this summer one for the books.
Folks, welcome to another episode of On the Limb Podcast with Nature's Voice Game Calls, where deer camp becomes a reality for every listener. Join us as we talk God, family, country, and everything outdoors. Kick back, relax, and have a listen. Now, here's your host and co-host, Mike and Dan.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. We don't have Dan in this evening, but we got BJ Sampson here helping us out. How you doing, BJ?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you back on the show, bud.
Absolutely.
So, folks, we've just coming back in from the Capitol. We did a live podcast up at the West Virginia State Capitol for the West Virginia Capitol Sportsman's Conservation Day. And, man, I tell you, we had a great time up there. We got to interview some great organizations in the outdoor industry. Got to get a little deeper into the whole how a bill becomes a law thing. A lot of people don't look into that stuff, and I think most hunters do because they want to know whether some laws are getting passed and some laws ain't getting passed. We gotta advocate for those things.
Absolutely.
So you got your drafting and introduction. Legislature, he sponsors a proposal, and then it turns into a bill, and then you have committee action, and then you have floor action, second chamber. And then it goes into a conference chamber, like committee, and then you have final passage and action on that part. So there is one bill right now. I can't remember the number of the bill, but it has to do with the data centers here in West Virginia. Some people are kind of, talking about that, up in a little uproar about that, where they are going to be using water from streams and things like that to cool the data centers.
Yeah.
So not sure that has passed the House, and it is going to the Senate for consideration. So I guess there'll be some more people trying to fight against that. So we'll see. So this evening we have a special guest and legendary woodcarver, sculptor. He's an artist. He does some amazing work. So we're going to be talking to him here in a little bit. Dave Constantine. So, but make sure you visit the Onyx Maps.
Yes.
Trout routes.
Yes, trout routes.
It's also Onyx Maps,
Yep.
Onyx Hunt, all that good stuff. Nature 26 will give you 3-month subscription to that.
Yep.
So make sure you check that out. All right, without further ado, please welcome me, Dave Constantine, woodcarving sculptor and world championship call maker. How you doing, Dave? Might have you muted there.
Early evening.
Dave, how you doing? Sorry, I had you muted.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be with you guys this afternoon.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the show. We sure appreciate your time this evening.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yep. So, Dave, how did you enjoy the NWTF convention show there in Nashville? You just got back from that. How was that show?
This year was as good as ever. My wife and I, we've been going for 17 years, I believe.
Wow.
And it's always a great time. At least for us, the call making side of things and the whole call making circle of people is quite special. We've come to know a lot of friends from across the country through the convention, obviously. And it's just a good time.
Yeah, it sure is. You've definitely met some friends there over the years and made an impression on the NWTF. They've done several articles on you there.
Yeah, they have. They've done quite a few over the years. I was a competitor up until 2 years ago.
Okay.
The custom call making competitions, and
Yes.
I've raised a ton of money for them. I'll tell you that.
I bet. So did you bring any bling home this year to put in the trophy cabinet?
I'll tell you a quick story.
All right.
So, having kind of retired from the competition itself the
Uh-huh.
year before last, uh, I think it got the powers that be, Michael, it got their attention.
Yeah.
So I had to chuckle. I received a few phone calls from the staff, and they they'd approach it like this. Dave, we came up with an idea such as the judges invitational, where a judge could bring anything they wanted to help raise money and put it on the auction. They also had me do a national raffle
Okay.
carving this year that went. They sold tickets across the country starting a month before the convention. And the reason I say it was kind of funny, guys, is they seem to have come up with a couple things to make darn sure I still bring something there and have it at the convention to sell. So,
I guarantee that's the truth, man. They definitely want your presence there for sure.
yes, sir. So,
Well, so no, go ahead. Sorry.
other than that, the competition was good as always. I think they had a record number of entries this year, and I was fortunate to be one of the decorative custom called judges again.
Okay.
So I enjoyed that.
Yeah. So as you being an expert turkey decoy craftsman, call maker, and wildlife artist, you bring unique perspective to the world of turkey hunting. So just kind of dive into your craft and explore, what drives your creativity and innovation.
Yeah. Um, Interestingly, in 1983, Wisconsin had their very first turkey season. They had a reintroduction of wild turkey program that went on for years before that, but their first season was 1983.
Mhm.
I think it was in 1985. I actually drew one of maybe 30 tags available in those early years, and I didn't know a lot about turkey hunting, but I thought it'd be cool to make a call and kill a gobbler with it. And that's kind of what got my passion going with call making in general. I also have always been intrigued by decoys. I've been a waterfowl guy for a good number of years, and decoys are an important part of waterfowling. And I messed around at the time in the early years here in Wisconsin, turkey hunting. I messed around with some silhouette type turkey decoys.
Uh-huh.
Kind of got it all started.
Awesome.
Hey, Dave, what would you say is your favorite kind of call to make?
BJ, my go-to calls for building are definitely box calls. And then second to that would be yelpers, turn barrel style yelpers. I'm not a friction call guy. I know 90% of the hunting population, that's the go-to call, and they're rightfully so. They're an easier call to master. I do design my own diaphragm calls also, but I just love playing box calls.
Yeah, I would say my top two are the box and the diaphragm as well.
Yeah.
I drove my teachers nuts when I was a kid because my dad, he said, if you want to
Yeah.
learn how to do that, you really got to practice. I took it to school and I got caught quite a few times.
It's interesting to me as a call builder, especially box calls. When you look at them and from the outside looking in, you'd think, well, this has got to be simple. But to really master playing a box call, it does take a lot of practice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I couldn't agree more.
Yep. So, Dave, can you walk us through that process of crafting a decoy or a call? Can you just give us a little snippet of each process that you do for each one?
Certainly. When it comes to the decoys, as I progressed in actually carving, sculpting, and designing decoys, I had several companies over the years that contacted me and said, "Dave, we'd like you to design a decoy, a turkey decoy for us, and carve the master and paint it so that they can then produce the actual piece or product that would be in the stores on the shelves." But that starts out with me doing a drawing, if you will, of the engineering side of the thing as far as the posturing, etc. And most of these are life size or just slightly less. And then from there, I cut out 4-inch stock of northern basswood. Um, um, the silhouettes, glue them together and rough out the actual shape of the bird. And then from there, it just progresses into various chisel and gouge work and then down to detail work. And one thing to note is I use all hand tools.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that in just, seeing some pictures of your shop and stuff.
Right.
That's awesome.
Not a big person with sanders and that kind of thing. So that ends up being all chisel and knife carved, and I think it lends itself to much more detail in the end product.
Yeah.
Well, when I'm making box calls, guys, obviously box calls are somewhat on one end of the spectrum, a musical instrument.
Yep.
So the various woods that are incorporated into box calls makes a huge difference. I had experimented with a lot of different types of wood. I tend to use indigenous woods to the United States rather than exotic stuff like walnut, cherry, poplar, various cedars, red cedar, yellow cedar, things like that. And I've come up with combinations that I think lend themselves to really good tone. Comes to duplicating a wild turkey hen. And I'm one of these guys that designs my own box calls. I don't make so to speak, a Neil Koss style box call. I have 3 or 4 different box calls that I've designed myself and make.
Okay.
And I use, if someone asks me my favorite wood combinations, I would have to say cherry on butternut.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Is a really, really good sounding call. Walnut on cedar is a great sounding call. And it runs the gamut from there. I've experimented with a lot of different ones. So
yeah.
And what's the purpose of actually blending the woods instead of just using one solid piece?
You mean the types of wood, BJ? Yeah. Well, here's the deal. It's kind of a hard versus semi-hard. Not soft, but hard versus semi-hard. So when you put a cherry paddle on top of butternut, you've got butternut, which is fairly soft wood, but has great acoustics.
Yes.
A cherry, which is a hardwood on top of that, the combination of the two is what creates that friction. That friction actually is what creates the tone and the sound.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Kind of as simple as that. Now, I know a lot of my fellow call makers use a lot of different woods that I've never used, like yellow heart and bloodwood and snakewood and things like that. But I tend to stick to wood that almost all of us across the country would recognize.
Yeah, we have found that the wild cherry pot that we create is one of the most popular ones that we do with it, and we do that with slate and glass. But we've just recently started venturing into walnut, and with anodized aluminum tops with a cherry soundboard, and that's a great combination for us.
Yeah, cherry is a wonderful call making wood, no matter what you're making
Yeah.
with it. Yes.
Yeah. So have you ever used Paduke or Paddock? Some people say it differently.
I have. I've made a couple calls with it. It's good wood.
Yeah.
Um,
Very hard wood.
yeah, it's extremely hard.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to remember. I think I did make a box call with it, and it worked out pretty good. The only time I get access to stuff like that is if a fellow call maker says, "Here, Dave," and brings me a box of something that I don't have. I
I
have
hear
a,
you.
have a shed here next to my shop and studio that is 30 by 30, and it's plumb full of wood.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is great. So Dave, with you have won numerous NWTF awards for your work. What does that recognition mean to you, and how has it impacted your approach to your craft?
That's a great question, Michael. The the whole thing started back in the day, and was trying to remember the very first custom call competition that the NWTF had on a national level. I do remember it was only a couple, three cafeteria tables at the time.
Oh, wow.
One of the regional directors here in Wisconsin called me up and said, "Dave, you should make a call for this." So I sent one down with him, and I placed, which gave me some confidence. There was no separation in decorative versus hunting. It was just turkey calls. And as time went on, they developed the Division I decorative turkey call competition side, and I started entering that with the intention at the time of, boy, it'd be nice to just get a ribbon with some of the people at the time, or the guys, fellows that were, I called the gurus of the craft,
Yeah.
and it'd be nice just to place alongside of them. And so that was my inspiration. And at one point, I actually started beating those individuals and went on to win 8 Earl Mickle Awards and 11 Callmaker of the Year, besides over 100 first place
Wow.
That's fantastic.
awards.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That is.
Congratulations on all those. That's
Thank,
amazing.
thank you.
So how do you see the role of decoys and calls evolving in modern turkey hunting today? Are there any new trends or technologies that you're excited about?
Well, there is, yes. As far as calls go, I mean, I don't know if anybody's going to reinvent the wheel, guys. I really don't think that'll happen, but I think that the call making today is at a very high quality level. I mean, there are so many good call makers out there, and there's so many people manufacturing or just handcrafting calls that are well worth the dollar spent. That's all I can say on that end. As far as decoys go, um, I feel fortunate. I was kind of on the ground floor of the whole turkey decoy thing, in that back in the day, I had a little company called Jenny Vanes, which was strictly a 2-dimensional silhouette turkey decoy that I designed, that had a fitting for the stake that allowed the decoy to move. And that whole movement thing had never really been done up until that point. And so that company ran its course, and that's about when I started. I believe it was 2011. I was contacted by a company to design a life-size Jake decoy in what I call ultra realism. both carving and the painting side, which I did. And that's kind of gone from there now to present day with several major decoy companies, Avian X, Dakota, there's Flambeau, and I have carved for, I think, 3 out of the 5 of those.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
I do think there is room for innovation, and hard to explain, but innovation in that someone may come up with a decoy that isn't so big and bulky to carry around, set up, etc.
Uh-huh.
It may be as effective.
Yeah.
That's one thing I noticed, Dave, and I was going to ask you that. When we first started using decoys, they were the foam ones. You could fold them up, put them in your back, and take off. And we had relatively good success with those. But now with the new ones coming out, they are so much more realistic. And, 99% of the time, they do their job, and they're fantastic. But every now and then, you just seem to spook a bird. You'll just see that thing, and he knows it's not right, and he'll take off. But is there a particular posture decoy that you've used over the years that was more effective for you?
Boy, I'll tell you what, BJ, one thing, you opened a can of worms, and I'll tell you.
I knew it was.
I will tell you why. One thing I have done for the last 20 years is study turkey decoys and their reaction to them and how to use them.
Yeah.
So here's the answer. Turkeys are not intelligent enough to know the difference between a decoy and a real one. And I say that because they have very small brains. What they know is survival, breeding, etc.
Yes.
Getting enough food to eat.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. In the early season across the country, the early opener in Wisconsin, we open about mid-April. And I tell people for the first couple weeks, 10 to 14 days, most hunters put a hen decoy out. That's the opposite of what they should be doing.
Yeah.
They should be using a Jake decoy. And the reason is those hens have spent the entire winter months together. They know each individual hen intimately. They know each other so well that when they see another hen decoy, they know it's not part of their group. Something isn't right because of that, because of their social structure in the winter flock. So if you have a Jake decoy out there, you're not going to intimidate the hens. And that's a lot of the reasons people say, geez, I think these turkeys are, I've heard the term decoy shy. That's not the case. It's just knowing the dynamics of the flock. As you get into the 3rd or 4th week, or I like to say, maybe towards the 14th or 15th day of that opener, then you can go to the hens. Once the gobblers are getting with hens and they're going off into different areas, they've broken up the winter hen group is what's happened. Then you can go to a hen decoy and you'll have much more success. The tail end of the season, definitely use a single hen. During mid-season, you can use combinations of Jakes and hens. It's that simple.
I'll tell you what, that is excellent news to hear, because there are so many times that I have been on a hunt and maybe even working the same bird in the same season, and I don't want him to kind of recognize my pattern. So I want to be able to have the knowledge to switch it up and maybe change his mood and his perspective on what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, the big thing is if you just early on, the first 10 to 14 days, just put a Jake decoy out.
Perfect.
Don't bother with a hen. You'll have much more success.
I will definitely do that.
Awesome. All right, Dave, we're going to take a break real quick here, a word from our sponsors, and then we'll come back and we'll try to answer some of the comments here that we have from some of our listeners.
Great.
Hello, Hunt Chef Nation.
Turn any cooking experience into an extremely wild one with Hunt Chef's delicious dozen seasonings, jerky, snack sticks, and brine kits. All 12 seasonings are packed full of wild flavor, perfect on pork, beef, chicken, lamb, vegetables, soups, venison, elk, or any wild game. Order today at huntchef.com or call the Hunt Chef headquarters at 724-780-3377. Order today at huntchef.com or call 724-780-3377. And remember, eat what you kill. All right, guys, we're back with Dave Constantine. He's world championship call maker and wood carving sculptor. I mean, he does some amazing work. You've got to get on and check out some of his work if you've never seen it. He's on Facebook. He's had articles done through the NWTF and several other places. If you look up Dave Constantine on Instagram, Facebook, or the internet, you'll find plenty of his work for sure. All right, Dave, so we're going to go over some of our comments coming in here from some of our listeners. One listener said, let's see here. Have you ever tried using American chestnut? Are you there?
I am.
Okay,
there.
gotcha.
American chestnut. I haven't. And one of the reasons is it's not indigenous to the upper Midwest here. But I know a lot of the guys say it's very, very good call making wood, especially for box calls.
Okay. And then we have another one here from one of our listeners, Bubba Holt. And he said, what sets the successful hunter apart from others when on public land in West Virginia or any state, therefore?
Yes.
Yeah.
The public land hunting is very interesting. It's obviously very different from private land hunting. If you own your own farm, your own land, etc., like that. Public land hunting, and I have hunted public land in Missouri and several states as well as in Wisconsin. I think number one is to get away from get quite a ways away from the access points.
Yep.
I've found that to be key to finding birds, because just like any animal that we hunt, pressure has an effect on them. Even say a public land parking lot, and you go in there, and birds that would normally be in that area, they're just naturally going to move away from those pressured areas. Now, take that one step further, the hunters get out of their truck at that parking lot and they disperse throughout that general area. If you can ascertain what that general area of hunting pressure is and get beyond that, you'll be ahead of the ball game. The second thing is to be patient. I think some of the best turkey hunters I know are very patient.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're not running gunners. I know fantastic turkey hunters. If they get a bird to answer in the area they're in, they will not move from that area, and they will kill that bird 9 out of 10 times.
Oh yeah, for sure. I tell you, a lot of the up and coming guys in the turkey hunting world loves that run and gunning style, don't they?
They really do.
Yes,
I'm guilty of it myself.
Yeah.
Now, I will say one thing that we've done here in the last couple of years, and I've watched YouTube television shows and kind of caught on to this stuff. And I didn't mainly do it on private land because turkey hunting is a very dangerous sport. You got to be very careful with what you're doing. But if you're partnered up and you got a bird and he's slowly coming in and going out, what I will do is leave the shooter at his stand, and I'll slowly start to walk away in a straight line, just making an occasional scratch, an occasional call. And we've actually connected on a few birds the last couple of years doing that.
Nice.
BJ, that's a very effective method I call it float calling, when you have your hunter at one position and you actually imitate a hen that is slowly fading away or walking away from that area. I actually, you had mentioned, Michael, in your query about kind of funny hunting stories.
Yes.
I had a buddy one year who he was only his second year of turkey hunting, and he was set up on a side hill with a kind of saddle on it, and he was sitting on the back side of this saddle, and he had apparently, per his conversation, he had a gobbler that would come up just to the edge of that saddle and kind of hang up and gobble his head off. He never got to see him. Well, my phone rings one morning at 8:35 a.m. and I'd already killed a bird, and I'm sitting in my driveway getting reorganized, and this guy's name was TJ, and he's whispering. He says, "Dave." I said, "What's up, TJ?" He says, "I got this bird." And he'll come up to this edge of this saddle, and then he'll walk away, and he's done this 5 times. I said, "Just back up 50 yards. And when you're backing up," I said, "yelp real soft and sit down." And about 10 minutes went by, and he calls back and he said, "Got him."
Oh, you can't beat that, man.
I love it.
Love it.
He said he backed up, he sat down, and he was just yelping softly, sat down. That gobbler came up there. He called again. He said he walked right in 30-yard range and shot him.
That's perfect.
So that's very, very effective. Yes.
So we have another comment here from a listener or viewer there on YouTube. Says Dave is also a master teacher. So I know that you do some classes on carving and things like that. So not only are you a master carver yourself, you're great at teaching these guys how to do this.
Well, this obviously might be one of my past students. I don't know, but yeah, I have been teaching carving classes for, I think, about 18 years. And 4 years ago, Michael and BJ, I don't know if you guys know, I've been doing a week-long workshop in the 3rd week of August here at my studio and shop, free of charge. And the whole thing is geared towards turkey hunters, call makers, and waterfowlers.
Man, that's a wonderful service. Thank you.
I seen some write-ups that you had done about that, and I've seen some pictures from the guys that actually carving some of that stuff, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I think that's a really important thing. We often discuss this, that the tradition of hunting and what we're talking about now is slowly dying. And for you to be doing that's wonderful.
Passing down the trades.
Yeah, keep it going.
And sharing the information. That's awesome.
It's a way to give back. And I mean, this what I do, guys, it's a gift. And I know where it comes from.
Absolutely.
And I sure as hell better use it. And it's
Absolutely.
one way of using it, and it's one way of giving back. And all those people have to do, they come here, the last 4 years will be our 5th one coming up, is get their tools and get here. And the rest, Nancy and I, it's totally no charge, and they have a blast.
That sounds like a great time.
Wow, awesome. Yeah, we have Brandon Moore. He commented and said it's so nice to hear the stories from my good friend Dave.
Brandon and Kelly, yes, they are wonderful people.
Awesome.
And very good friends of ours. Kelly's dad is a call maker, and he's been very successful also at the convention in years past.
Good deal. I love it. Bubba Holt has another question. He said, what's your advice when trying to get those gobblers to cross fences or streams?
Okay, Bubba. I don't know that I'm totally qualified to answer this, but I can tell you a couple tricks. First of all, our hunting land here where our family hunts is on the Chippewa River. All right. The first thing I will tell you, if you are hunting birds that are indigenous to that waterway, if it happens to be a stream, a creek, or a river, they will fly that body of water like it's part of their daily routine. They won't think twice about it.
Okay.
Now, if it happens to be one of those deals, and I know a lot of people have talked about this, where they've run into birds that will not cross a fence or will not cross a creek or a stream or a river, then you have to. I myself and other hunters I've been with, we have had to jockey ourselves all the way around to the other side. I don't know why they won't cross. I don't know the answer to that, but I do know if it's something they're used to, they will eventually cross it.
Yeah.
I had 3 gobblers just this last spring that we had a tremendous amount of rain, and we had an area where it had flooded, which was not normal. And these birds were on the field when I drove by, but I couldn't hunt on the field. I could only hunt in the timber behind that. Well, the field butted up to this flooded area. So when I got down this old logging road and sat down and started calling, they answered me multiple times. And I thought, man, I don't think they're going to cross this water because it's something new. And it was, probably 100 yards wide. So quite wide. I called them 3 times up to the water. I could tell by the sound that they had come to the water's edge. And I finally just stopped calling. And I bet it was a half an hour went by, and one of them gobbled right at the water's edge again.
Oh, wow.
So they were going to the water's edge, back out to the field, to the water's edge, back out to the field. I didn't answer him. I just sat there. It wasn't 5 minutes. I hear, and all 3 of them landed 30 yards from my tree. Flew across. So I think the silent treatment, they couldn't take it.
I got you.
Really flew across that body of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely works sometimes. I mean, it's hard to do as a turkey hunter because you want to call, and
It is.
you love to hear them.
You think the more that you call, the more it's going to entice them to come.
Oh, absolutely. But a lot of times you ruin the hunt that way.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. And that's a natural thing for all of us as hunters. We like to hear it. We like to be part of that whole interaction game.
Oh, yeah.
And you can fire them birds up big time, but they're not always going to come. In this case, it was the opposite, just not talking to them, and they couldn't take it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've experienced, like what you're saying, the familiarity of the stream, where their breeding areas are, where their normalcy is.
Yeah.
I've noticed that they'll do anything around those streams.
They sure
And
will.
like if you have a flat or something that's on the side of a road where these turkeys are, roosting, and there's a bunch of them out in a rural area, they'll fly across that road and that stream all day long.
Every day.
It doesn't matter
when you're calling them.
Yeah, except when turkey season comes in.
Yeah, they'll fly our river all the time, and that river is quite large. It's 400 yards wide average, so it's almost a quarter mile wide, and they'll fly across it back and forth all day long.
When it comes to early season, I know you was talking about food source and things like that turkey's focused on. If you're hunting a new piece of ground, let's say big timber, because that's what we're mainly about here in West Virginia, where would you suggest maybe start looking for early season signs so you can start to plan your hunt?
Well, I have not been to West Virginia, guys, but I'm assuming in the spring. When does your season open, BJ, generally?
We're usually around the 3rd week of April.
Yeah. So the whole key in early season, even in cropland areas and farmland areas, but the whole key is green up. I think green up is the most important thing there is in the early season.
Yes, sir. I agree with that for sure.
Yeah. So whatever that might be. And it's surprising they have such a varied diet. Anything that's green, I mean, even regular grass, that early green up is so tender and it's so palatable to them. That's a big deal. So I would look for green up. If there's some leftover mass crop from the fall and winter before, of course, acorns, things like that. That's an important area to focus on also. But I think green up is the big thing. And here's another thing. A lot of hunters don't realize this, but I discovered this when I was doing research for decoy, turkey decoys, is gobblers are instinctively drawn to what I call the bright spot. So you want to be in areas within gun range or bow range, if you're a turkey hunter, of that area that's going to receive the most light. If you think about that, that's why they're designed the way they are with all the iridescent feathers to attract the hens. So you as a hunter want to be in the shaded area and you want to have your potential kill spot be that brighter area in the woods. I hear people talk about strut zones.
Yes.
I'm not totally convinced a strut zone even exists. What it is, it's that brightest spot that gobbler will go to show off for the hen.
That's a very strong point, and
I
can understand where you're coming from there.
We've all seen them do it. They're coming along, weave through the woods, and all of a sudden they stop and start strutting.
Yep.
It's because they feel like they're getting the most show for their money right there with that light.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So we got another comment from Barry Buckner. He says that Sybil says that she misses you and Nancy and can't wait to see both of you in August at your 5th annual masterclass. So tell us a little bit about your masterclass that you have coming up.
The one coming up is interesting, and Barry and Sybil are dear friends of ours. Barry came to he's come every year. He has had the best time, and he started bringing Sybil with him. Of course, the girls, when they're all here, they aren't in the class, but they do their own thing. And then we always have a throwdown every afternoon after class on our deck. And we have venison sausage and Wisconsin cheese and a little bit of bourbon once in a while. And
there you go.
But this one coming up, the guys, there's 9 from 8 different states. And I think 3 of them are waterfowl guys. And a couple of the turkey guys said they'd love to do something waterfowl. So we're going to be carving a Drake wood duck decoy.
Oh my goodness. You got my heart now, Dave.
Which is going to be an awesome project. So I will walk them through from a roughed out or cut out block through the whole thing.
Man.
That sounds perfect.
That is great. We might have to make a trip to Wisconsin.
Can we go to Wisconsin, Mike?
Well, you guys are certainly welcome. I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. And Bubba Holt always, he also said, come on over here to West Virginia. He said they've got a couple cabins with plenty of ground to hunt that he'd welcome you to.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, might have to get something set up there. Bubba's great. He does a lot of stuff for veterans, and what's that, Project Healing Waters.
That's beautiful.
He used to do a lot of stuff with that, and he's doing
I've heard of that
with some other organizations, but Bubba does a great job supporting, people in the outdoor industry for sure.
Anytime you can get the veterans and the kids involved is a wonderful time.
Definitely. Yep.
I'm sure. Yes.
All right. Well, that was great there chatting with some of the people that's commenting in on all of our stuff there. So let's get back into some of our talking points. Let me see here. As a wildlife artist, how do you draw inspiration from nature and translate that into your work?
Great question. I've always, since I was, as far as I can remember, maybe 7, 8 years old, I can remember just kicking around in the outdoors and catching frogs and whatever. And I've just always been inspired by the whole this whole thing we call nature that God has given us. It's just been such a blessing. And when I started just drawing and scribbling and sketching was age 6, my dad kept a lot of my drawings from back then. And then when he passed away, my mother gave me those. I don't mean this in a pompous way, but they weren't your average 6-year-old's drawings. They they were quite good. I mean, I didn't know it at the time, but as time went on, it was my way, Michael, to answer your question, my way of sharing or bringing some of that essence of the outdoor experience to people that I knew, family and friends, and eventually to the whole country and beyond.
Yeah, definitely.
That was my inspiration. And it's a natural talent. I'm self-taught. I've not had any formal training in art, period, or sculpting. So it's truly a gift.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most interesting things about art is I've had several friends over the years, and just as soon as they could use a pen and paper, they had the gift.
Yeah.
And I'm over here drawing a stick figure out.
Yeah, that's the way my brother was. He could draw anything.
Yeah, my daughter's got it. She's actually starting to draw.
He could draw anything, and then he asked me to draw our logo for Nature's Voice Game Calls. I'm like, really? Come on now.
He's just trying to get you incorporated.
He was. He's just trying to get me to be part, I guess.
Yeah, it comes naturally, that's for sure. People, one of the questions I get a lot is how do you come up with your ideas? And my answer is, I don't know. All I know is they're there all the time, and I will die before I do all of them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm sure through your experiences over the years, you have plenty of ideas.
Yes, I do. Yeah, for sure. I think one of the most special things, though, is to experience the spring turkey woods. It's like nothing else.
It really is.
People that haven't done it should do it, or look somebody up that does it and ask them if they would introduce you to the sport. I mean, thank God for the wild turkey. My first gobbler I killed was with a box call that I made that sounded pretty bad. And I had a 2-year-old gobbler answer me and came in, and I've been hooked ever since.
Awesome.
I will say I love those 2-year-olds.
Yeah,
they really make you feel like a good hunter.
they do.
Yeah. I think 2 years ago, I think I killed the oldest bird I'd ever taken, and he was definitely the biggest bird I ever taken. He was 27 pounds, had an 11-inch beard, 1.5 inch spurs, and that bird had a head the size of a softball.
Man,
I mean, he was beautiful.
Yeah,
but he didn't.
That's a big bird. We're blessed here with a lot of big body birds in Wisconsin too. I mean, we shoot a lot of 24, 25 pound birds, and my wife shot a 2711 one year with 2 beards and one of them great big anvil heads. And you pick one of those up and you go, man, it feels like a sack of concrete,
Yeah, I was amazed because growing up, just the holy grail in the state of West Virginia was killing a 20-pound bird.
Yeah.
Or a 10-inch. So I really didn't understand the magnitude of that turkey till I got him in that vest, and I thought, man, he's kind of heavy. So I come off the hill, and I was by myself. It's the first time I killed a bird by myself for a while, and I put him in that basket and put him on that scale, and I was shocked
Mhm.
because this is a turkey that survives off of acorns and
Yeah.
roughage. He's not around any type of pastures, anything like that. So, yeah,
Hmm.
pretty neat to see.
Mountain bird.
Yeah, he was a big old mountain bird.
Definitely a big mountain bird.
That's a big gobbler for sure.
Yeah.
So, Dave, we got another question coming in here, going back to some of our chats. So this comes from a listener on YouTube. It says, Dave, what's your opinion on turkey hunters who sleep in late and only hunt in the afternoon? He says he's asking for a friend.
If you didn't hear that, my wife is laughing. My opinion of hunters that sleep in and hunt late morning or afternoon, I have a very high opinion of them, and I'll tell you why. My wife has killed close to 100 gobblers, and she has not killed a one before 11 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
She
That's
strictly hunts late morning to about through noon, 1 o'clock, and then again in Wisconsin here we can hunt until sundown. So they've all been after that. So if I told you I had a bad opinion of them, I may not get breakfast tomorrow.
I kind of like the sound of this, to be honest with you. Because 5:30 comes really early.
It does. Sometimes 5 o'clock, maybe,
Oh,
depending
my
on how
goodness.
far you got to go here,
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
that'll wear you out. And I mean, that morning hunting, by the end of the season, we have 6 time periods here, and it's light in Wisconsin. The pink light before sunup is at 10 to 5.
Okay.
It's very, very early. So you're looking at getting up at 3:30, 4 o'clock just to go turkey hunting.
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know West Virginia, we've always been a state where you have to be out of the woods by 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I think that projects a lot of us to get up and get out there
Yeah.
early.
We'd like to see that changed.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that would like to see that change.
It was kind of crazy being out in Wyoming hunting at like 5 o'clock in the day.
I couldn't imagine.
I couldn't. I mean, it was just like, what am I doing?
Yeah. I mean,
Can
by
they-
that time, I'm hunting molly moochers and,
Yeah.
and trying to get one to gobble for the next morning.
Yeah.
So you guys, is 1 o'clock still to this day?
Yes.
Yeah. We used to be noon, and they changed it. I'm going to say 6, 7 years ago. So ever since then, we've kind of gotten used to that afternoon hunting. I have found out that the afternoon hunting is a bit different in that it gives you the advantage of knowing where the birds were that morning,
Yeah.
and you can be in that area towards sundown.
Yeah, that's been the DNR's main point over the years with that time. They are afraid that, these mountain birds are pretty predictable sometimes when it comes to their nesting location. Now, if you bust one out, he'll change.
You
but
mean the roost? Yeah, I can see that.
I think they're a little worried that people are going to kill more birds in that aspect. But I do think that it still takes an extreme amount of skills to get out and take a good smart gobbler like that.
Oh, especially the mountain birds. I've heard many, many stories about y'all's birds. So yeah, I think you're right, BJ. Yeah.
There's something else down here.
Yeah.
They are probably a big reason for a lot of depression around here.
Yeah.
We call it seasonal depression.
Seasonal depression.
But it's really just turkeys.
Well, I might run the gamut of all turkey hunters. I mean, we've all gotten our butts whooped, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, last year was one of those years.
Yeah.
Oh, it was slow.
So you've already given us a little hint of some of the stories that you've had there in your journey. So what are some of your own hunting experiences that you'd like to talk to us about, and what are some of the most memorable hunts that you've been on, and how are they influencing your approach to decoy making and calling?
Well, first of all, some of the most memorable hunts that weren't what I call hunts that might might fall into the category of humorous, but the most memorable ones have been obviously with hunting with my wife or introducing new people to the sport, and also to we have 2 grandsons, and we've been able to turn them into pretty darn good turkey hunters. And we had 2 sons growing up who we were able to craft into really good turkey hunters. So those, I would say, are the most memorable as far as, just being meaningful, Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's always great to get out there with family and get them involved in it. And
Oh, I'll never forget that first turkey.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, my dad, he took us, religiously every year.
Mhm.
In the first 2 or 3 seasons, I screwed up every set we had between missing them or moving or
Yeah.
whatever. So finally, I got old enough, and he said, "You're going to go on your own this year."
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I killed a big gobbler opening morning.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But it just went to the testament of his teachings and
Teaching, yeah.
and showing you how to do it,
And being raised in it.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to be cut loose.
Sometimes you do. Yeah, that's for sure.
I think you asked, the other part of your question was what the influence in the future, and I think one of the things that as a country, I think every state needs to take a serious look at. We have a lot of states with declining turkey populations, and obviously the importance of habitat, etc., is there. But in my opinion, the greatest detriment to turkey populations is raccoons and skunks.
Oh, really?
And
Getting the eggs.
I put
without question. And I think the focus needs to shift a bit to those those predators that are predominantly nest raiders.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where our populations are hurting. And that is obviously, I think we all know this as hunters, is obviously because the fur markets aren't there anymore.
True.
So we need to look at innovative ways to get rid of these nest predators, because they're the ones that are taking our turkey populations down. There is impact, yes, environmental impact, etc., when it comes to certain logging practices and things like that. But I'm convinced it's nesting predators that are, and it's not coyotes taking adult birds or anything like that. It's when it's during the nesting period, and you got 9 to 14 eggs there, and by the time they get done, there's 3 left.
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
I think you nailed it right on the head right there. This year was the first time I was able to really get into trapping. Jonathan Fowler and we got out there, and we noticed our turkey population is starting to decline over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, the last time this happened was when I stopped trapping. So we got back after it this year. We put 24 coons down and 10 possum.
Nice.
So we had a pretty successful month of January. Of course, the weather got us after that, and I had to get back to work.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that's going to be a really positive thing in the spring, seeing a lot more poults out there running around.
That's one thing we're going to do. We're going to have the West Virginia Trappers Association on for a full-time episode, because we talked to them there at the state capitol the other day, and that's the first time we got a chance to talk with them. And they're talking about, they want to see more studies done, because they're into the fur bears. Yeah. So they're wanting more studies done on the gray fox. They see that the gray fox decline is massive right now. He said that they were bringing in thousands and thousands of furs in past years.
Yeah.
This last year, 30.
Yeah.
Through the whole state.
Well, I also got Windy Ridge Trappers. They actually made a run last week from Bluefield all the way to Morgantown. They hit different cities every day to pick up your furs.
Oh, okay.
And of course, fur is not high right now. Yeah, it's very low. but it's still a very lucrative practice.
Mhm.
It hones your hunting skills. It allows you to spend more time outdoors. It's a great way to get your kids involved. Like my son, he had an awesome time this
Oh, I
year.
guarantee it.
Only got like $34 for those hides, but you can't take away from what you got helping the turkey population out, getting outdoors,
Getting the kids involved.
you know, I got the first coon that I skinned. My son looked at me and he said, "Dad, you kind of suck at this." And I said, "Listen here, I haven't skinned one in 20 plus years."
Yeah.
So by the time season was over, I got it down to 7 minutes.
There you go.
I was whipping them furs off.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
I having a good time.
It's going to really help, BJ. It will help your area, definitely. I'm convinced of it.
Definitely, because coon hunting is just completely gone from our area. Everybody switched over to bear dogs predominantly.
Yeah.
And I know growing up, you maybe go out and tree 1 or 2 coons a night if you were lucky. But I bet you now, if you had a good set of hounds, you could hunt all night and be at a tree every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to some of our chats here, one of our YouTube watchers and listeners say that he says that he can see coyotes chasing down turkey before raccoons. I don't think that that's the kind of predator part we're talking about. We're talking about the raccoons getting the eggs.
The eggs, the
nest.
vulnerable ones.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that's a whole different deal. And that's real hit and miss. I mean, what the majority of the problem is the eggs in the nest and they're getting destroyed without question.
One thing, the guy picking up the furs, he told us the other day, because I said the coyotes just seem to disappear from my property this year, and they are always there. They have been for a decade. I mean, real strong numbers. And he said that there is a tick, a variant of a tick.
That's what they think is going on with the gray fox.
That is affecting the canines in the woods.
Yep.
And he said that this is the lowest number of coyotes they've ever seen, and some of the furs just weren't even usable. But that tick actually attacks their nervous system and kills them.
Yep.
Yeah, BJ, same thing here in Wisconsin. We're 2 years now of our coyote population being down, and we have gray fox. We don't have many. We have quite a few red fox, but there's something going on, and it might be just a cycle deal where we have highs and lows in the coyote population. But I do know they're down right now, and we're still losing birds because of possums and skunk and raccoons.
Yeah,
for sure. So Bubba Holt chimed in again. He said, "Dave, you're spot on when it comes to those, the furs and stuff like that, and trapping not being as big, and we need to get more people back into that." He said that green coon hides, which is large, were getting $20 to $25 a hide in the early 90s, and now they're only getting $2.
Yep. Yeah, that's trapping.
That's crazy. So Brandon Moore chimed in from Facebook, and he says, "Dave, what's the go-to coon trap setup for you?"
If you're old school, it's going to be a foothold with. I used to trap tons of coons with. After I cleaned my bluegill or brim, you guys call them, piece of brim and a foothold trap. That was money. Nowadays, it's the little round ones where you put bait down in the cylinder, and I forget what they call them, but they are really effective.
Yeah, dog proofs.
Yeah, that's it. And it's just a round cylinder with a spring trap inside and put bait in there. They stick their foot in there and they're caught. I know some of the areas where I whitetail hunt out west, they use the fly stuff the farmers use, that yellow stuff to keep the flies dead, to kill flies. Are you guys there?
Yeah.
Oh, my screen went blank. Yeah, and they mix it with Coke, and there'll be 20 dead coon laying there in the next morning.
Wow.
And that poisons them somehow, I guess. But
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, we had a lot of success with the dog proof this year. What we would do is you just take cat food and a marshmallow. So you put a marshmallow down on that trigger, put the cat food on top, and then put salmon oil, and
Yeah.
then put a marshmallow on top. But one of the biggest tricks that I learned, Jonathan taught me this year, was paint those dog proofs white, because it gives them something visual to see and come over and inspect.
Okay.
Yeah, great idea.
Yeah, we had a fantastic month-long season chasing them with those dog proofs.
Yeah, that's what Brandon said. We use dog proof traps with mini marshmallows and grape jelly.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. I love grape jelly.
That would draw me in.
I don't know if my hand go in there, but I'd try.
Man, I tell you, that's right up my alley. You know how I like snacks.
Oh yeah, about that little Debbie.
Little Debbie. Oh, man. That's funny.
Yeah, they're very effective, those dog proof styles. Really are.
Yeah,
Well,
Brandon.
and especially around here, we got so many residents. They want the coons trap, but it's hard to put the footholds out.
Yeah,
that's a lot of work, and it's dangerous for your pets and things like that. So the dog proofs offer the availability to put those into places that you normally couldn't.
Yep, for sure. Well, Dave, we've had a great discussion tonight. It was such a pleasure having you on. I hope you had a great time.
Guys, I really did. I really enjoyed it, and I was pretty darn happy you asked me to be on, Michael. I hope people got something out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. We had a lot of good discussion there through our chats from Facebook and YouTube. So I really think people enjoyed it for sure.
Pleasure to meet you, Dave.
Well, thank you, guys, and God bless you, and keep up the great work.
God bless you, sir. And before you go, real quick, just let everybody know when your next class is, and if they need to get a hold of you for anything, if they would like for you to sculpt something for them, or if they want to visit one of your classes, or just come see you.
You bet. The best way to get a hold of me is just go on my Facebook page, which is my name. You won't find any political crap or anything on there. It's all my work, and it's all stuff towards hunting and fishing, and especially the turkey call making world. And you can messenger me or whatever it takes. Give me a shout on Messenger. I'll give you my shop number, and I'm there to help.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
and
Dave.
Again, thank you for your time. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Well, thank you, guys. Really had fun.
All righty. You have a good evening.
Good luck this coming season.
Good. Have a great spring.
Thanks, sir.
Yep, you too. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, what a discussion.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. That
Talking
was
with a legend.
I knew it was going to be a great segment.
Spot on with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. Excellent.
All right, folks. Well, thank you for watching on YouTube and our Facebook page. Be sure that you go and check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcast. If you go to Nature's Voice Game Calls right now, you can use podcast 15 at checkout for your 15% off your entire order. And we've got some more up there. Make sure you go to troutroutes.com. We talked about that in the beginning, but we always want to hit that, because it goes for OnX Maps, OnX Hunt, off-road, everything. So you use Nature 26, and it'll give you a three-month membership for free on there. So, again, thank you all for listening. BJ, thanks for your help tonight.
Hey, thank you.
It's great to have somebody just to engage on the other side of the conversation there.
Nothing better.
So I'm glad you had a good time.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, thanks for watching, and thanks for listening in. We sure appreciate it. You all have a good evening. This episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Outdoor Pro Shop, LLC. Outdoor Pro Shop is a family-owned and operated firearms dealer and sporting goods retailer. They have pay-over-time options, a rewards program, and customer service satisfaction that is unmatched. They might not be the biggest, but they strive to be the best. Contact them today at 240-360-1298 or visit them on the web at www.outdoor-pro-shop.com. That's Outdoor Pro Shop, 240-360-1298.